Ever wonder why some people seem to earn respect effortlessly? They're never interrupted. Their time is never wasted. So, what makes them different? What do they have that you don't? I'm about to tell you something that might make you angry. The truth is, the reason they get respect isn't because they're smarter, richer, or more successful than you. It's because they know a single psychological trick you've never been taught. A trick so simple yet so powerful that once you understand it, your entire life will change. Think about this. Someone cuts in line and you say nothing. A friend cancels on you for the third time and you just smile. Someone takes credit for your idea and you let it slide. Do you realize what you're really doing? You're training people to walk all over you. And here's the part that will shock you. The people who never deal with this aren't avoiding it by accident. They're using a dark secret of human psychology discovered by Machiavelli. 500 years ago, a secret that separates those who command respect from those who beg for approval. What if I told you that being liked is actually making you weak? That every time you chase approval, you hand away your power. The more you try to please everyone, the less they respect you. This isn't feel-good advice. This is raw psychology that works every single time. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some people command every room they walk into, while others fade into the background, why some people are heard, while others are ignored, and most importantly, how to become the person who never gets disrespected again. So let's start here. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Respect over approval. Number 1. The hidden weakness of being liked. Every single person who's walked over you, dismissed you, or treated you like you don't matter has one thing in common. They knew you needed their approval more than they needed yours. Think about it. When was the last time anyone truly respected someone desperate to be liked? Never, because desperation has a scent and people can smell it a mile away. When being liked becomes your priority, you become predictable. They know you'll smile even when insulted. They know you'll agree even when they're wrong. They know you'll show up even when they don't respect your time. And once you're predictable, you're disposable. The harder you try to be liked, the less people actually like you. Backwards, I know. But look at the people you respect most. Are they the ones constantly seeking approval? Or are they the ones who couldn't care less if you approve? The truth is, people are drawn to those who don't need them. Human Psychology 101. We want what we can't have, and we dismiss what comes too easily. Chasing approval makes you less valuable in everyone's eyes. Machiavelli once said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." He wasn't talking about tyranny. He was talking about the psychology of respect. Fear here doesn't mean terror. It means consequence. When people know there's a cost to crossing you, they think twice. Think about the people who command respect in your life. Your toughest teacher, your strictest boss, the friend who tells you the truth even when it hurts. What do they share? They don't need approval to feel good about themselves. They have boundaries, and they enforce them. Meanwhile, people pleasers get walked on, overlooked, forgotten, because when you're available to everyone, you're special to no one. And here's the brutal truth. The people who benefit from your need to be liked don't respect you for it. Deep down, they see weakness. They may smile, they may flatter you, but behind closed doors they know you're the one they can always count on to bend over backwards for scraps of attention. This is the trap that keeps millions powerless. They think being nice will earn respect, but all it earns is being taken for granted. Because respect isn't given, it's commanded. And you can't command anything while begging for approval. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose power. Number 2. The dark power of respect. Now that you know why being liked sabotages your life, let's talk about what actually works. Respect. Not the fake politeness people show, but the deep, instinctive respect that makes others think twice before crossing you. Respect is built on one principle: consequence. When people know crossing you will cost them something, they don't cross you. Simple. But when they know they can walk all over you without pushback, guess what happens? They do it again. Most people get this wrong. They think respect comes from being impressive, talented, or successful. That's not respect, that's admiration. Respect comes from boundaries that mean something. When someone disrespects you and you stay silent, you're teaching them disrespecting you is free. But when there's an immediate consequence, they lose your time, your help, your presence. They learn quickly not to repeat it. This is why the nicest people often get treated the worst. They've trained everyone around them that bad behavior has no cost. They've made themselves safe to disrespect. And once you're safe to disrespect, respect is impossible. But when you flip the script, when you show your time, energy and attention have value, everything changes. People start watching their words around you. They start thinking before they act. They start treating you like someone who matters. Machiavelli once said, "Men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived." And that's the essence of respect, boundaries, consequences, and self-worth. People will treat you exactly how you allow them to treat you. No better, no worse. The dark power of respect is that it's self-reinforcing. The more you demand it, the more you receive it. The more you receive it, the easier it becomes to demand it. It's an upward spiral that transforms how everyone sees you. But here's the key difference between demanding respect and demanding to be liked. When you demand to be liked, you give others control. They decide whether to give you what you want. When you demand respect, you take control. Because respect isn't something they grant, it's something you claim by refusing to accept anything less. Think about the most respected people you know. Do they beg for respect? Do they explain why they deserve it? Do they lower their standards to make others comfortable? Never. They simply refuse to accept disrespect, and that refusal becomes their power. This is what separates the powerful from the powerless. The powerful know respect is non-negotiable. The powerless think respect is earned by being extra nice and endlessly giving. But you don't earn respect by giving your power away. You earn it by keeping it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My worth isn't debatable. Number 3, the psychology of control. Here's something that will blow your mind. Every single interaction you have is about control. Who controls the conversation? Who controls the relationship? Who controls the outcome? And here's the kicker. If you don't know who's in control, it's not you. Approval seekers hand over control without even realizing it. Every time you adjust your behavior to gain approval, you give others control over your actions. Every time you bite your tongue to avoid conflict, you give them control over your voice. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you give them control over your choices. But people who don't crave approval keep control. They speak their mind regardless of how others react. They make decisions based on what they want, not on what's expected. They set the terms of every interaction instead of accepting whatever terms are offered. This is why approval addiction is so dangerous. It's not just about feelings. It's about control. When you need approval to feel okay, you've basically handed someone else the remote control to your emotions. Think about it. When you desperately want someone to like you, you'll do almost anything to keep them happy. You'll change your opinions, hide parts of yourself, even compromise your values. You become whatever they want you to be. That's not a relationship. It's slavery with extra steps. But when you don't need approval, when you're fine with someone disliking you if that's what it takes to stay true to yourself, you hold all the power. Because they can't use your need against you. That's the secret confident people understand. They're not confident because nothing bothers them. They're confident because they refuse to let other people's opinions control their self-worth. They've made themselves psychologically untouchable. Machiavelli once said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." And here's the truth. The moment you stop performing for approval, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. When you break free from the approval trap, 3 things happen. Manipulation stops working. People can't push your buttons because you've disconnected them. Guilt, shame, pressure, they all lose power over you. Your decisions become crystal clear. You stop asking, what will make them happy, and start asking, what's best for me. You stop living for everyone else and finally start living for yourself. Your relationships transform. Some people will hate losing control over you and they'll disappear. Good. The ones that remain are built on respect, not desperation. This is the shift that changes everything. From "I hope they like me" to "I don't care if they like me." From "what do they think" to "what do I think." From "I need their approval" to "they need to earn my respect." Drop this affirmation in the comments. I control my worth. Number 4, the addiction to approval. Let's talk about something uncomfortable. Your need for approval isn't just a personality trait. It's an addiction. And like any addiction, it's being used against you by people who know exactly how it works. Here's how approval addiction hooks you. Someone compliments you, likes your post, or praises you. Your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical triggered by drugs. You feel good, really good. But as soon as the high fades, you crave another hit. And here's where it gets sinister. People around you figure out this pattern fast. They realize a little approval can get you to do almost anything. Need you to work late? A quick compliment about your work ethic. Need to borrow money? A comment about how generous you are. Need you to overlook bad behavior? A sweet line about how understanding you are. They're literally using your brain chemistry against you. And the worst part, you help them do it. You're so hungry for validation that you'll accept whatever scraps they throw. That's why approval addiction is so dangerous. It makes you easy to control. People know which buttons to push to get what they want. They don't need to threaten or force you. All it takes is a little praise, and you'll bend over backwards. But here's the twist. People who don't need approval are impossible to manipulate this way. You can't control someone with compliments if they don't crave compliments. You can't manipulate someone with acceptance if they don't need acceptance. You can't use their emotions against them if their emotions don't depend on your opinion. The brutal truth about validation: it's cheap to give and costly to crave. Validation is cheap to give but expensive to receive. Anyone can tell you you're wonderful. It costs them nothing. But for you to feel good, you need to hear it again and again from more and more people. You become dependent on something completely outside your control. Machiavelli once said, "He who neglects what is done for what ought to be done sooner affects his ruin than his preservation." When you focus on what others think you should be instead of what you actually are, you destroy your own power. Think about how this plays out in real life. The approval addict changes their personality depending on the group. Different opinions in different rooms, hiding parts of themselves that might not be popular. They become a collection of masks, never a real person. Meanwhile, people who don't need approval stay consistent. They're the same person everywhere. They express real opinions regardless of reactions. They don't hide their authentic selves because they aren't afraid of disapproval. And ironically, that authenticity makes them more respected and more genuinely liked than any people-pleaser ever will be. But breaking approval addiction isn't easy. Your brain will fight you every step of the way. It will whisper that without approval, you'll be alone and rejected. It will make you feel guilty for not caring what others think. It will try to pull you back into the cycle of validation. This is where discipline comes in. You must choose to stop chasing approval even when every fiber of your being craves it. You must be willing to be disliked, misunderstood, even criticized. You must value your own opinion above everyone else's combined. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My validation comes from within. Number 5. Machiavellian rules to command respect. Now let's get practical. The rules that transform you from someone who gets walked on to someone who commands respect without saying a word. These aren't theories. They are time-tested principles that work every single time. Rule 1. Speak less, act more. Most people talk too much and do too little. They over-explain, make excuses, and justify themselves endlessly. It makes them look weak, desperate for understanding. People who command respect do the opposite. They speak only when they have something important to say, and they let their actions speak louder. They don't explain decisions to people unworthy of explanations. They don't justify choices to people who couldn't make better ones. When someone disrespects you, don't lecture them about respect. Just walk away. When someone breaks a boundary, don't explain why boundaries matter. Just enforce the consequence. When someone questions your decision, don't defend it. Just stand firm. Machiavelli once said, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. Be the fox when you must be strategic, and the lion when you must be strong." Rule 2. Never chase approval. This one's simple but not easy. No matter how much you want someone's approval, never chase it. Don't text repeatedly if they ignore you. Don't explain yourself when they're upset. Don't try to win them back when they turn cold. Chasing approval screams desperation, and desperation repels respect. Instead, be indifferent. If they like you, great. If they don't, that's their loss. Indifference is magnetic. It makes people wonder why you don't need them, which makes them respect you more. Rule 3. Stay cold and calm under attack. When someone provokes you, insults you, or tries to push your buttons, your reaction decides everything. Get emotional, defensive, or angry, and they win. They've proven they can control you. But if you stay calm, cold, even slightly amused, you show them they can't touch you. You're psychologically bulletproof. That terrifies people who rely on manipulation. Rule 4. Stay unpredictable. Predictable people are easy to control. If others know exactly how you'll react, they can manipulate you at will. So keep people guessing. Sometimes be generous. Sometimes be ruthless. Sometimes social. Sometimes distant. Sometimes put others first. Sometimes put yourself first. This unpredictability forces respect because it proves you can't be controlled. Machiavelli once said, "Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved." Don't be predictably nice. Don't be predictably cruel. Be strategically both. Rule 5. Enforce boundaries swiftly and silently. When someone crosses a line, speed matters more than severity. A swift, proportional consequence teaches better than a delayed, harsh one. And silence speaks louder than words. Don't warn repeatedly. Don't give second chances for the same violation. Don't explain why they were wrong. Just enforce the consequence immediately and move on. This shows everyone your boundaries are real, not suggestions. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am unmovable. Number 6. Scarcity and distance as power multipliers. Here's a truth most people get backwards. They think being constantly available makes them valuable. They think always saying yes makes them indispensable. They think giving unlimited access to their time and attention makes them loved. They're wrong on every count. Scarcity creates value. Always has, always will. When something is rare, people want it more. When something is common, people take it for granted. This applies to money, to opportunities, to relationships, and most importantly, it applies to you. When you're always available, you become background noise in people's lives. They know you'll always be there. When you're always available, people stop appreciating your presence. They know you'll always say yes, so they stop valuing your cooperation. They know you'll always forgive, so they stop worrying about hurting you. But when your time becomes scarce, when your attention is limited, when your forgiveness is conditional, suddenly, people start treating these things like the precious resources they truly are. Think about the people with the most social power in any group. Are they the ones who show up to everything and agree with everyone? Never. They're the ones who show up when they choose, leave when they're ready, and say no without explanation. Their selective presence makes their actual presence more valuable. This is the power of strategic distance. Not being cold, not being cruel, but being selective about where you invest your energy. Not being mean, but refusing to be endlessly available. Machiavelli once said, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel." Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few really know what you are. The less people see of you, the more they wonder about you. And curiosity is magnetic. How does this play out practically? Instead of responding to every text instantly, respond when it's convenient for you. Instead of attending every hangout, be selective about the invitations you accept. Instead of helping everyone who asks, help the people who deserve it. This isn't about being selfish. It's about recognizing your time and energy are finite resources. When you give them away freely to everyone, they lose value. When you give them selectively to those who appreciate them, they become priceless. And here's the beautiful part. Scarcity is self-reinforcing. The less available you are, the more people want your attention. The more they want it, the better they treat you to earn it. The better they treat you, the more selective you can afford to be. It becomes an upward spiral of respect and influence. But here's the truth. You will lose some people in this process. The ones who only valued you because you were easy to access will disappear when you become selective. Good. They weren't real relationships. They were just taking advantage of your availability. The people who remain, the ones who respect your boundaries and value your selective presence, those are the relationships worth keeping, built on mutual respect, not your desperation to please. Distance also gives you clarity. When you're not constantly managing everyone else's emotions, you can finally think about what you want. When you're not reacting to other people's demands, you can act on your own goals. That's why the most powerful people often seem slightly detached. It's not that they don't care, it's that they don't care too much. They understand emotional distance is necessary for clear thinking and strong decisions. So what happens when you actually implement these principles? When you stop chasing approval and start commanding respect. When you replace your addiction to being liked with the power of being respected, everything changes. And I mean everything. Your relationships transform, not all of them. Some people will hate the new you because they can't manipulate you anymore. But the ones that remain will be deeper, stronger, and genuine. For the first time, they'll be with the real you, not the mask you wore for approval. Your confidence skyrockets. Not the fake confidence that relies on likes and validation, but real confidence, rooted in the knowledge that your worth isn't up for debate. Opportunities come to you. People will seek your opinion because they know you'll tell the truth, not what they want to hear. They'll offer you better positions because they know you won't settle for scraps. Your stress plummets. Life becomes simpler when you stop managing everyone else's emotions. You can finally focus on what matters without worrying about who you might have upset. But most importantly, you become psychologically free. Free from chasing approval. Free from fear of disapproval. Free to be authentically yourself without apology. Machiavelli once said, "It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles." Your worth doesn't come from what others think of you. It comes from what you think of yourself and how you choose to show up in the world. This transformation won't be instant. It won't always be comfortable. You'll be tempted to fall back into old patterns. You'll second-guess your new boundaries. You'll wonder if you're being too harsh, but stay the course. Because on the other side of that discomfort is a version of you you've never met. A version that commands respect without demanding it. That attracts real relationships without chasing them. That holds power without abusing it. The world is full of people desperate to be liked, but it's starved of people who command genuine respect. Which one will you choose to be? If you're still watching, you're already different. Most people avoid uncomfortable truths. Most would rather stay powerless than face how they've given their power away. But you're here, which means you're ready. Ready to move from approval seeker to respect commanding, from powerless to powerful, from giving your worth away to keeping it. This isn't about being cold, it's about being strong. It's about knowing your value and refusing anything less than respect. The principles we've covered: speak less and act more. Never chase approval. Stay calm under attack. Be unpredictable. Enforce boundaries swiftly. Use scarcity wisely. These aren't tricks. They're a way of life, a way of moving through the world that automatically commands respect. Machiavelli once said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." Don't wait years to take your power back. Don't wait until you've been walked on 1,000 times. Do it now. Start with your next interaction. Your future self, the one who commands respect, who builds genuine relationships, who needs no one's approval, is waiting for you to make this decision. The only question is, how long will you keep them waiting? If this video opened your eyes to how you've been giving away your power, smash that like button. If you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them. And if you want more raw, no fluff content on building real power, subscribe and hit that notification bell. The journey from people pleaser to respected individual starts with one step. You've already taken it by watching this video. Now take the next step by implementing it. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. Respect is my birthright. Because in a world full of people begging to be liked, the one who doesn't need approval holds all the cards. Be that person, command the respect you deserve, and watch how your entire life transforms when you finally stop giving your power away.